Hello and welcome to another edition of O.G.R. from the Michigan Audio Lab studio. I'm your host, Mike Abraham, and this is Eric Van Landingham.
How you doing?
Happy holidays, everyone. It's our annual holiday issue, even though we're not doing Santa hats and all that today.
I'm not really doing a Christmas episode.
Nope. But we are doing a song about mental illness. So nothing says Merry Christmas like mental illness.
Sure.
So today we're doing Welcome Home Sanitarium by Metallica. Metallica. Can you believe it? We're doing a Metallica song.
I can't believe we haven't done one yet.
Right. They are part of the big four, right? Metallica,
absolutely.
Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax. They are part of the big four.
I always found it strange that Metallica and Megadeth were two of the top big four because they were mortal enemies for the first half of their career.
Right, with Dave Mustaine being in the band, right, originally, and they kicked him out.
It's probably some interesting times backstage.
Yeah, I mean, you're a pretty killer band when you kick Dave Mustaine out and still become the most, In my opinion, I think they're the number one all-time American rock band. What do you think?
Well, Metallica has, I don't know if they still do, but had for a long time held the number one artist, top-selling, any genre ever.
Right. But as an American band, like all my favorite bands are predominantly British bands, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Judas Priest. So when you think about American bands, there's Aerosmith, right?
Right.
Van Halen, Boston. Boston? You think Boston?
No, Aerosmith from Boston.
Oh, yeah. Aerosmith, Van Halen. I would probably put Lynyrd Skynyrd in there.
Sure.
Even though, they're soft
Queen
rock,
Drake.
I think the Eagles are probably considered one of the greatest American rock bands. But regardless, Metallica definitely in the conversation from the San Francisco area. And then we're doing one of their songs, but we're also going to try some of their bourbon today. This is Blackened bourbon, and it's Metallica's signature bourbon.
It's got some cool attributes to it. And this thing has been sitting here waiting for this show for a good, 3 weeks?
At least.
And it's been through a lot of my band rehearsals where I've got a couple band members that really, really, really wanted to open it.
Yeah, so we didn't allow that to happen. We saved it. This was donated by our friends at A&B Liquor in Davison. They have it in stock. It's Blackened bourbon, and they got with a master distiller, Mr. Pickerel. He's, I guess, a legendary distiller, and they came up with a new idea and a new concept on how to get the most flavor out of the bourbon. Down in bourbon country, they put the barrels on like a raft and let the water slosh it around, and then the alcohol soaks up flavors from the barrels, right?
Right.
Well, Metallica and this distiller came up with a really neat concept. It's called sonic enhancement. So what they do is they blast this bourbon with Metallica songs that Metallica handpicks. And on the back of your bottle, there's a batch code. And you go on the website and you look up that batch code, and you can actually pull up the playlist that your bottle of booze was sonically enhanced with.
And I'm laughing, but he's not joking.
No, it's absolutely, sounds ridiculous.
Actually blasted Metallica music at this, I don't know about this bottle, but this batch.
In barrels.
To get as it aged, to make it more...
Right, and those sonic waves cause vibration.
Rather than, like you say, they used to put it in water so it would slosh back and forth to get the flavor out of the barrel. But
so maybe a gimmick, but we're going to try it today and find out if it's any good. So I'm going to pour us a couple of shots, but Metallica, big band for me influentially. 86, Master of Puppets came out, which the song we're doing today came out on that album in 86.
Yeah.
And I can remember distinctly, I was in high school in the 11th grade, and my friend Matt Gilbert, well, it was my second 11th grade, but my friend Matt Gilbert, he had doodled on his school book the logo for Metallica. Uh-huh. And I said to him, "What is that?" And he looked at me like I was crazy. Because here it is, their third album, and I had never heard of them.
Yeah, how do you have never heard of Metallica?
Well, at that time I hadn't. I was into Iron Maiden land, and it was all I listened to, pretty much. And then in Slayer. But I got into Metallica on that album, and I had to go back and go through Ride the Lightning and Kill 'Em All and experience them all the way through the 80s, the late 80s, until they came out with the Black Album in the early 90s. So... I think Master of Puppets is probably the greatest record that they made, in my opinion. And Welcome Home Sanitarium, one of my all-time favorite songs on it. I'm stoked. You were actually in a Metallica tribute band, right? I mean, like a big one.
I was in a Metallica tribute that toured. We went through 26 different states in 4 years. of constant touring. Band was called Damage Incorporated, and it was a blast. And we used to do things. We absolutely did Sanitarium every night. Used to play anywhere from 3 to 6 nights a week.
And you were James Hetfield.
I was the James Hetfield guy, believe it or not. And we will get Sequencio to play a little clip of video. And mind you, video back then, this was 1990 or 91 through 94 or 95. And the video camera we had was one of those big clunking things. That you had to put like a clamp on it to get it to work because the electronics were falling apart. And by the time you transferred that to digital medium, it's
so
pretty,
you
pretty
had
bad sounding.
you had the long blonde hair, just like Hetfield.
I had the long blonde hair.
You were much skinnier than you are now.
Oh, I was a furniture mover for most of my late teens and early 20s, so I was a big built dude with long blonde hair.
You were like Hetfield on steroids.
I was Hetfield on steroids.
So you guys toured the whole country and stuff, didn't you?
26 states.
26 states, and how was the reception? I mean, Metallica was so huge at that time, right? Like, you guys were the biggest thing around.
In tributes, today tributes are, everybody does a tribute, whether or not they do it right. They just play a bunch of songs from one band and call themselves a tribute. But back then, if you did a tribute, you had to try to do it as closely as you could. Like our friend Rob from Crazy Babies, they do a very, very close rendition of Ozzy's entire stage show. Right. And that's what we were trying to do. Rusty Wright from currently Rusty Wright Blues was our guitar player, and he was a great artist, and he used to make the stage show. We had the giant crosses from the Master of Puppets album.
Wow.
Our drum stage was 8 feet high, and the whole front of it was a skull and teeth with little tiny skulls inside the mouth.
Right.
And the kick drums were the eyes.
Cool.
Then we had a pyro guy.
I remember, I actually got to see him in '86 when they opened for Ozzy on Ultimate Sin. It was on the Master of Puppets tour, and Cliff Burton was still alive. Got to see him. And my friend Scott Wilson turned me on to Metallica. He had the record. I went home to his house and listened to it and was enthralled. And when we got to see him, it was just surreal that they were there. And then, of course, when Cliff died, it was really, really hard on us. But
crazy. And then the Injustice for All album comes out next after Cliff died, and James, I don't know about the rest of the guys, but James really kind of took it all out on Jason Newsted.
I heard that.
And if you listen to a couple interviews with Jason, he'll tell you that too, because the bass is pretty much non-existent on that album.
And you know what? It's mind-blowing is it's so good the way it is.
Yeah.
But yet there's hardly any bass sound on it.
Get on YouTube and look up And Justice for Jason. And somebody has remixed that album.
With bass in it.
With bass in it.
And is it quite a difference?
Bass. Oh, it's a huge difference. Huge difference.
Right. Well, I think the songs are all stellar. Every one of them on that record. And even with no bass sound, they still hold up today. I think they're awesome.
We used to do a 20-minute medley with a little bit of every song on that album.
Very cool.
It was one of my favorite things to play every night.
Harvester Sorrow.
Oh, yeah. Blackened was in it.
Cool. Right, and then of course they named the bourbon after the song that's on "And Justice for All." So that's a great segue into us doing this shot, Eric. So it is the holidays. Well, I don't know when this is going to air, but right now it's pre-Christmas. It's in that time between Thanksgiving and Christmas, that limbo time, and then hopefully this will come out sometime before the New Year. So we will be well within our rights to raise our glass and say happy holidays to all of our viewership. Anybody who watches us, happy holidays to you as well, Sequencio.
Grab yourself a drink. Cheers to you.
And here's to you. Over a year doing it, we're still going strong.
Still going strong.
Ooh. What do you think? I like bourbon.
It tastes like black velvet.
And Jim Beam mixed together.
Maybe. It's not sweet like Jack Daniels or Jim Beam, but it's got that little aftertaste. But it's got, because it's not sweet, it's almost dry. It tastes like black velvet.
I don't know. I expected it to be smoother than it was.
Yeah, it's not real.
We should do another one.
So it's not the best. It's not the best bourbon I've ever had.
No, it's not.
And you would think, it says something about aged in cherry wood or something.
Okay.
And you would think that it would have some kind of hint of that, but it does not.
Let's try it again. Maybe we're off here.
I mean, the novelty of it, sure, buy yourself one.
Right, it's blasted with Metallica music, but that hasn't changed the flavor, I don't think. It still tastes like bourbon.
Yes, it is.
Ooh. Like he says in that one song, ooh.
Ooh. You like that, James? No.
So there it is, Blackened Bourbon. You can find this at A&B Liquor in Davison. Do we got anything else to talk about?
I'm still enthralled with that.
Yeah? Still trying to recover from that.
It's. You're gonna take that home, right?
I'll take that home. No, we can leave that here.
Should put it in the tiki bar.
Okay, that's what we'll do.
Novelty's sake.
All right, sounds good. Well, I guess we'll roll the video now. So without further ado...
What in the heck? Are you expecting a call? Did you have somebody call the show?
This is never good. O.G.R?
Yeah!
Who is this?
James Hetfield from Metallica.
Wow! Yeah, wow, I can't believe it's James Hetfield calling our show. I mean, we're both such big fans. This is amazing. So, James, do you think maybe we could ask you a few questions today?
Yeah!
Awesome. So, I guess first of all, I'd like to say, I'm going to ask you, can you hold on for a minute?
Ooh.
Yeah, sorry. What are we asking?
Ask him who okayed that shitty snare sound in Saint Anger.
Oh, good question. Yeah, so James, I guess what we want to ask you today is we want to talk about that terrible snare sound in Saint Anger.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, isn't it?
Yeah!
Yeah, that's what we think too. So tell me, who okayed that? I mean, who decided that that was all right to leave it?
Lars!
Of course, it was Lars. That figures. Well, we really appreciate calling the show today, and it's quite a coincidence that you're calling because today we're actually playing a Metallica song.
Napster bag!
No, we didn't get it off Napster. We actually bought the record.
Money good!
Yeah, I figured you'd like the money part. Besides, have no fear, no worries. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna send you a royalty anyway. So.
Yeah, you will!
Yeah, we will. We'll send you a royalty. And by the way, we did try your bourbon today.
Blackened.
Right, right. That's what it's called. It's called. Yeah, it's called. Yeah, the bourbon. Yeah, it's called. Yeah, the bourbon. Yeah, it's called. Right. Blackened. That's the name of the bourbon. Blackened. Yeah, Blackened. That's the name of the bourbon. Thank you, James. But right, Blackened. We didn't really like it. We didn't really like it much, though. I mean, what did you think of it?
Ooh.
Yeah, that was our reaction, too. Ooh. So, hey, James, do you think that maybe you could intro our video for us?
Yeah!
Awesome. So James Hetfield's going to intro our video. We're going to do it right now. So here is...
Old Guys Rockin'
by...
Metallica!
Doing Welcome Home Sanitarium. Rock on!
Blackened.
leave me